nature is throwing her usual welcoming party when I come back to the Arctic. Last year it rained the whole 4 months that I was here. And let's see, the temperature's down to 41 degrees. Kind of a change from the 90s I was seeing 2 days ago. But it is to be expected. We're in Pink Mountain, British Columbia. Seems to be a fair amount of energy sector work going on around here, which I always like to see, as you know. Now we're getting into some interesting road. This might be that bridge that burned last year. Across from the hard hat about a mile back. Bridge has definitely seen better days.
Alright, so we have a little bit of a bear here. Old black bear there. See how close we can get to him. Hi, bear. Pretty coat. I'm as close as I want to be. He could turn and move pretty quick if he wanted to.
Well, wasn't that cool? We saw our first bear. Saw it before we saw a moose. Is that another one? Now I'm going to see bears everywhere for the next bunch of miles. Better save the film. Look at that. That's all forest fire. It's kind of a normal part of the woods up here, the forest up here. It burns every once in a while. That looks like it might be even this year. Maybe not. Wow. Yeah, I think that was this year, and it burned that whole mountain to the left of us there. Wow. Didn't realize they had such a bad fire season this year. This might be kind of cool. Wish they put up signs telling you which river you're crossing. There we go. There's a northern river. Cold and moving. Seems so much healthier than the tepid rivers down south. It's a pretty interesting area here. Obviously, it's recently burned. I would say, like, probably this spring. The road itself is kind of sketchy. Like it got hot and they re-chip sealed it. Looking out green. Alcan lives up to its name, or its reputation. There's another sign you don't see very often: sheep on road. You gotta be pretty high in the mountains to find sheep on the road. I have seen it in Canada and in Alaska. Actually on the Alcan and on both sides of the border. Wow, there we go. going up the highway, I don't know, 94, 95, I met no less than 4 different couples, families, that were on their way back to Alaska, meaning they had lived in Alaska, they moved out of Alaska, and now they were crawling their way back up the road. So from then on, I kind of understood that everybody that leaves comes back. Might even be a rite of passage to be an Alaskan. They call it the $500,000 experiment. It's really not that I can't live someplace else. I can adapt. Yeah, I'm a little rougher around the edges and a little more feral than most people. And part of that is my Alaskan nature. But I think more pointedly, nothing else holds excitement. It's just not exciting out there. You know, my commute is everybody else's trip of a lifetime. I drove through this kind of stuff every day of my life for 30 years in all weather conditions. I camped in this. I hunted in this. It was nothing to be. It was normal to be 10 miles from the nearest human. It was normal to kind of have to survive whatever Mother Nature was throwing at you. I get outside, it's beautiful. It's a whole different scene. Most places are just as beautiful as Alaska, in my opinion. In some cases, they're even more beautiful. Alaska's pretty stark. You have to appreciate kind of how everything here is struggling to survive. But with all the traveling I've done on the outside, I don't want to say I'm bored with it, but it doesn't hold the excitement, it doesn't hold the drama, it doesn't hold the fear or the sense of isolation that traveling around up here does, or that just living up here does. I tell my friends that I'm bored because I haven't had a near-death experience in 3 years since I left Alaska. That's not completely true. I had 1 or 2 of them last year while I was in Alaska. Not huge ones, but definitely were in situations where it could be all over. That just doesn't happen in the Ozarks or in the city or whatever. Or maybe it happens in the city, but that's a different animal. I told you there'd be bison, and there they are. And there's baby bison too. Wow, that's pretty special. BC does a good job paying their animals to entertain the tourists. Okay, I've been driving for about, I don't know, a little over 12 hours. I've made 560.9 miles. I'm in an area where I should be able to find some free camping. I just stopped at one of the campgrounds and they wanted $40 a night for a dry spot. I'm pretty much past the point on the trip where I need to pay for camping. It's pretty wild up here. Kind of the unspoken rule is if there isn't a sign that says no camping, then you can camp there. So that's probably what I'm going to do. That's part of the adventure. So, it's been a long day. I'm getting a little sick of driving so much, but that's to be expected. And I have at least 2, maybe 3 days left to go. That's how far this is in time, in terms of time. So, anyway, I might throw an update on the end of this at camp tonight. If not, I hope you all sleep in peace. And I will talk to you tomorrow. I know I said I was done for the night, but I thought you might all enjoy this view a little bit. Pretty spectacular, dramatic cloud formations. I don't get too far much further up the road. I would like some sunshine instead of rain. Looks like it's raining up there. I'm going to try an Overlander site. We'll talk about that later, but if you don't use that app works pretty good up in this part of the country. Just to find kind of free places to park. So we're going to try one of the sites. I tried one yesterday and it didn't pan out. Or I didn't follow the directions right, but we're going to try it again. And hopefully we'll have one secluded place just off the highway, but on the other side of the hill so you don't hear the highway. And wide open view of the beautiful sky. Alright, this is going into this little Overlander spot. Gotta be able to say I put some mud on my tires on this trip. So we are gonna go in here and hopefully not find too many
Arriving at Alaska Highway next to pond on the right.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. Yes, this is good. This is good. We're gonna, oh, look at this. Yes, it is. Alright, burn it right here. Because it seems level. Awesome. Alright, I will check back in with you a little bit more when we take a little walk down by the beaver pond. Because I like beavers. Just a little bit of trivia. Did you know that beavers are the most destructive animal in the world on the planet? You do now. Hello, bear. No bear. Pretty flowers. Look at that. Yep, it's a beaver pond, or it was at one time. Oh, yeah, look at that. So, there's the evidence. There's the evidence of this being a beaver pond. Look at that. Cool. Well, this is going to be home for tonight, so let's enjoy it.